So Priscilla and Aquila, who we celebrate today, they were leaders in the early church, and we see this in Paul's letters. We see this a little bit in Acts. So they are a couple that we know at least a little bit about from the New Testament itself. But while we know they served in the early church, there's a lot we don't know about them. We don't know quite what capacity they were in. Now, while ordination in the early church doesn't look like quite what it does now, we don't know if they served in an ordained capacity. We think that Priscilla might have been the writer for the epistle to the Hebrews, but again, we just don't know. But what we do know is this: they were tent makers like Paul himself. And with Paul, they went out, they helped him in his ministry, and they went out themselves to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ to those in the world, to those in the wider Roman Empire. Whether they would have been considered ordained or not doesn't really matter. Because what's important about Priscilla and Aquila is that they did the work of the church. They did the work to go out and proclaim the gospel. They did the work that we are all called to do in the church. And so let us follow in their example, whether we are ordained or whether we are lay leaders in the church. Priscilla and Aquila had an amazing ministry. It's one that we have at least a tiny record of through Paul's writings. Certainly Paul, one of our great apostles, held them in very high esteem. And it's because they went out and did this work and did it in fervor. So let us do the same and go out proclaiming that gospel and doing that work as leaders, whether lay or ordained in the church.